24-hour care for before 7 days, and now he's already taking in his mouth. He can drink fluids, but before he did not able to drink anything, and he was very dehydrated child. His age is 8 months old.
Most of the children who come to the clinic in the dehydrated state, severe malnutrition state, are they saved? Are you able to help them, or?
Actually, we try to save them as when they are not taking in the mouth by mouth. We can help you by nasogastric intubation. We pass here from the nose to. We put a tube into their stomach and we feed them. As actual, if they did not able even to take a nasogastric tube, we just start IV solution, either intraperitoneal or intravenous solution. That might be their life-saving solutions.
Thank you very much. We have another mother here with another baby. Now this child is still quite malnourished. How long has this mother been at the clinic?
This child.
Can they see the children?
Yes.
Both of them. This is her child.
No, stand here. Bring here.
How old is this baby?
He's 1 month old only.
When did she come to the clinic?
She's new arrival. He's not registered.
Not registered yet?
Yes.
What are you going to do for this child?
Actually, we are medical team here, but the administrators of here. My requisition is just to make admission for him in the feeding center, because he's too young. When the child is too young, he is capable and he's sensitive to all infections. If he's in the camp, he might have all diseases. If he becomes undernourished and he cannot drink anything from his mother, he cannot take his breast, and he is sick. He's underage, so he's suitable to admit in the feeding center.
So you're going to do as much as you can for this child?
Yes, and even we can admit in 24-hour care as a month or more.
That gives you some idea of the condition of the children who are brought to this feeding center, Christian.
Gary, thanks very much for that report. Our CNN team here will continue the series of reports on the crisis in Africa throughout this day and for the rest of this week. For my colleagues Richard Blystone and Gary Stryker, I'm Christiana Amanpour reporting live from Ethiopia. We'll have more ahead on CNN's International Hour.
Forced to come by foot. He was just taking the bank of the river, and he and his families were walking day and night most of the time, and it took him 1 month from Chalalaxi up to here.
Mohammed Farah heads for the clinic, a last chance to save his 8-year-old son Hada. Many are too weak even to make this 10-minute walk from the camp. Mohammed was once a trader, crisscrossing the border with Somalia, but the war in that country put an end to his livelihood. Now he can no longer support his wife and 3 children. There are 2 doctors here, but they've arrived too late for many. This child will be dead by nightfall. Hadlaya Telefishanka is 9 months pregnant and has been in pain for weeks. Over 250 patients see the doctors every day. Impossible as it may seem, the people here are the lucky ones. There are many camps with no medical staff at all. Mohammed's son Hada is so weak he can't sit up. His energy drained by diarrhea. He's given rehydration fluid, a mixture of salt and sugar, which costs just a few pence, but is so often in short supply. The medicines that are doled out will help, but only for a while. What these people need is food, and there's simply not enough of it getting through. For much of the last 6 months, there was only enough to feed pregnant mothers, the very worst cases amongst the adults and the children. They slip away quickly. Just 4 months ago, Anja was fit enough to play with Mohammed's son. Hada will get something today. He's finally been given a precious ration card. A child in his condition needs at least 4 feeds a day, but that's never been possible here. The daily ration is 2 cups of this flour-based porridge. It's filling, but there's little goodness. Supplies to these camps have never been regular. It's over 1,000 miles to the nearest port, and in any case, only a fraction of the relief needed has reached Ethiopia. In conditions like this, life is reduced to a daily fight for survival. These children have learnt the lesson. At Gode camp, the passive endurance that creeps over the lives of so many of Africa's famine victims is giving way to anger and frustration. Most of it directed at officials of the toppled government, especially its relief managers, who are accused of selling off aid supplies. The UN brings the aid into famine areas, but it's their policy to hand over distribution to the government agency. At the local offices, a UN official who checked the records confirmed there had been some irregularities.
We have for 1 month the consumption.
But he says security and logistics, not corruption, are the real reason for the food shortfall. During the turmoil of the rebel overthrow, fearing a bout of looting, local officials gave out what was left in this warehouse. No care was taken to deliver to the most needy. The UN's foreign staff had pulled out, unable to offer leadership when it was most needed. There are continuing accusations that the UN's refugee agency is still failing to coordinate the relief effort with aid workers on the ground. Days after the rebels moved in here, the people of Gode were called to a public meeting. Not the stage-managed affairs they were forced to attend before, but a real chance to air their grievances. At once they turned their anger on a former government official accused of corruption. Everybody agreed he should be brought to trial, and the new commander, just 26 years old, duly has the man arrested. It suits the one-time guerrilla to encourage criticism against the old regime. It's part of the Hearts and Minds campaign that is being waged across the country. He's a northerner and needs to build up trust with these ethnic Somalis who've never really trusted Ethiopia's rulers, let alone this latest group, who not so long ago adhered to a hardline Marxism that made former President Mengistu's version seem tame. By the time Mohammed returns to the camp, there's little of the jubilation he felt at the public meeting. He stops to visit Anja, the girl who used to play with his children. He's too late. She's not alone. 4 others were buried in just 1 hour, sometimes as many as 80 a day. Mohammed has lost 20 relatives. Prompted by this disaster, the aid agencies began an emergency airlift this week, but it's too expensive to maintain for long. The answer lies with the new men in Addis Ababa. Until they can find a way to unite Ethiopia, this distant land will not see the long-term development it needs. Back at his hut, Mohammed turns to the plight of his own family. He's thankful that they've survived another day. While all around him pin their hopes on the new rulers of Ethiopia, he places his trust in another power,
عليهم ولا الضالين